Hi, partners, and welcome to the next episode of our Here Everyone Belongs podcast. My name is Megan Balzer, and today we have Armando Perez, who is the Executive Vice President of Houston Food Drug and the PRG Executive Sponsor for our Hispanic group. Welcome, Armando.
Thanks for having me, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. So today we're going to talk about the launch of the Hispanic Partner Resource Group and how that group is working to make Hispanic Heritage Month, which is September the 15th through October 15th, an even bigger celebration and a more meaningful celebration. So before we get started, what are 3 sentences or less to describe your role here at HEB, Armando?
Let's see, in 3 sentences or less. I have the opportunity of leading about 24,000 partners that serve the greater Houston area. So we serve from Columbus to Orange, from Texas City up to Carthage. And we work to provide better communities with the best products. And one of the things about every time we open a store is we say, hey, look, we're looking to make the community better. And we're looking to run the best store in the community. And I have the great fortune with working with 24,000 folks making that happen every day.
Wow, that's a very large group of partners. A lot of responsibility there. Also, I think another large group of partners would be this Hispanic PRG. It's one of the largest partner resource groups we have. Again, this is a company-wide network of partners and allies, I would say members and allies of the group, as well as I believe we have 10 chapters company-wide in every region and division, right? So talk to me about this role. What is your why? Like, why did you get involved? And maybe share a bit about your career journey at HEB that could relate to, your choice to be involved with the Hispanic PRG.
Sure. There was a couple of reasons that I chose to get involved. The first one, honestly, was that Malin Harris, my good friend, asked me to do it. And so when Malin asks you to do something, you typically do it. So I was happy to support her as she was working to get these up and running throughout the entire company. And second, I just saw it as an opportunity to work together with partners that I don't get to work with every day as we look to make the company better. And early on, we said, how does the company get better at being a better employer, being a better with suppliers from the Hispanic community, and how do we be better in Hispanic communities that we serve? To the history, I grew up, as many know, in the border. Started working at the border, worked in the border for a long time, and that gave me a genuine respect for how important each of the Hispanic groups that we serve has been to the success of HEB over the years.
And something you said, each of the different Hispanic communities that we serve, Texas obviously has a very strong Hispanic community across the state and demographics. But let's talk about that a little bit, because the Hispanic community at large is actually made up of many different Spanish-speaking countries and countries of origin all over the world. What are some examples of that?
Yeah, it's absolutely right. One of the first things that we debated as a group was what to call ourselves. And if you think about it, there's a lot of different names that people are using in society today. So you have Hispanic, you have Latino, you have Latin, you have Latinx. And we debated it for quite some time before we came upon being called the Hispanic PRG. And to be honest, we're still debating it. And we could make a change down the road because we chose Hispanic for the right reasons, and that it was we found it to be the most inclusive of the names that we could use, because it's people that live in Mexico, people that live in the United States, people that live in Central and South America, people that live in the Caribbean, people that live in Puerto Rico and Cuba and parts of Europe that speak Spanish. And so from that aspect, we saw it as being very inclusive. What we have since learned is that it does exclude some partners that lived in, say, South America, where Spanish isn't the preferred language of choice. And so we're kind of thinking through, after we get through Hispanic Heritage Month, how do we go back and readdress that so that we could be as inclusive as we can possibly be?
My next question is, I think I just want to hear from you. What is the big dream and vision for this group? Kind of the long term. What do you see as the big impact or the goal where you guys are headed in the future?
If you think about it, one of the things that we've talked about before is that we set it up as a forum for many of us to interact with each other. And one of the things that I've enjoyed so far in being involved with the Hispanic PRG is I've had the great pleasure of interacting with a bunch of partners that I would not have met if not for the Hispanic PRG. Some of them I knew and just hadn't been in contact with in quite some time, and some of them I met for the very first time. And that same benefit that I have had of being able to interact with these excellent and exciting leaders at HEB is the type of thing that we want to make available to more people throughout the company, and that we set up these forums where people can build friendships and relationships of trust that we hope can be of value to them as they look to grow their career. And quite frankly, just make working at HEB more fun and interesting for everyone. If you think about our vision, and we've worked on our vision and our mission, our vision is that the Hispanic PRG becomes a network of Hispanic partners and allies committed to empowering each other to build relationships, share experiences, amplify our voices, and ultimately to positively impact our broader communities and HEB. And we work really hard, and every one of those words is important for a specific reason. And that's what we're looking to do. And from a mission perspective, we're wanting to ensure that HEB is the employer and retailer of choice for Hispanics in Texas. And we kept that one brief, but we found it to be meaningful to the group.
What ways do you think this group, like just having this group, is going to positively impact our partners? And I would even say the Hispanic community at large, even outside of HEB, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the three buckets that we chose to focus on, right? How does HEB become a better employer? How do we become a better retailer? And how do we serve the community better? And so if you think about being a better employer, some of the things that we've talked about is looking at our hiring practices, looking at our training practices, looking at how we're working to retain and promote Hispanics that we have throughout all parts of our organization. We've already done, one of the chapters has done some great work around setting up a new pilot program to ensure that Hispanics at all levels of the organizations know the opportunities that exist at HEB for career growth. When you think about being a better retailer, if you think about the demographic shifts that are happening in the state, our ability to serve Hispanics with the unique products that they need is going to continue to grow in importance. And we think that with the support of everyone that's on the PRGs, we can do that even better. We're really excited about some of the vendors that we're going to promote during Hispanic Heritage Month. And by way of the community is how do we continue to do what HEB does in all of our communities and ensure that we're working really closely with our community public affairs department to make sure that we're finding the right organizations that are making a difference within the Hispanic community.
Partners are not always aware of it. So I feel like the PRG, right, is bringing more awareness to the career programs and opportunities and experiences that are available, and making those more visible to our partners so that they know how to access them and the benefits of it.
Yeah, that is one of those things that we want to be able to accomplish as a PRG, is to help partners understand the things that are already available to them. And we also want to be a resource for partners that are looking to grow their careers that maybe are not aware of these programs that we have at HEB today. But two is even sometimes just being a group that they can lean on for support, not only in utilizing the programs that are in place, but sometimes just need to be encouraged to take the next step. Sometimes it's both the fear of the unknown, or they're thinking that somehow maybe their language is a barrier, or that they're not prepared to do more at HEB. And one of the things that we're committed to as a group is to ensuring that that there's opportunity for everybody here at HEB.
Wonderful. So speaking of awareness, how is the Partner Resource Group, the Hispanic group, supporting and celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations internally and also within the stores with Be the Change? So how is the PRG supporting that?
Yeah, I couldn't be prouder of the work that each of the PRG chapters throughout the company has been doing to to prepare us for the celebration that we're about to kick off on the 15th of September. What we did early on as a group is we set up a divide and conquer process, and each one of the chapters took on a specific area of accountability to prepare for the Hispanic Heritage Month. And we've got some great things lined up. The San Antonio chapter has set up this fabulous speaker series that will be available to all PRG members that starts on 16 de septiembre. And they were able to get Howard Butt to be our first speaker in this series, which I think will be exciting to many of us. We've also have a session with Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa from the Houston Astros. We've got Greg Souquet, who is going to join us. And then we've got a pair, the Nietos, who are from San Antonio that are going to join us for one of the sessions as well. And then there's just a bunch of other work that has gone on with the various chapters. One of the chapters is set up an ambassador program where we can take Hispanics, alumni going back into their alma maters to help recruit future talent for HEB. We've got a group that's working on raising awareness of our internship opportunities. We've had some great ideas that are going to be shared on volunteer opportunities that we can still do within the community, within our current frameworks of what's allowed with our COVID protocols. We've got a Hispanic spotlight session that we're going to use to really highlight some of the great partners at HEB. I mentioned earlier, the border region is piloting a new Leaders of Tomorrow partner development program. We've done all of the things that we've kind of seen with some of the other celebrations that we've done around Zoom background, stickers for the badges, that kind of thing as we look to market Hispanic Heritage Month. The Houston PRG team has done a lot of work around celebrating through food. We're going to highlight the Mi Tienda brand. We're going to have some interesting things going on with our Cooking Connection and Showtime. There's just a lot going on. The Gulf Coast, really, this is an important one, has done some great work to set up some sessions over PartnerNet to help educate everyone on diabetes, because that's a huge issue that we continue to work on in the Hispanic community. We're going to start to share all of this on the Hispanic PRG website. You can follow us on the Hispanic PRG Slack channel. And we're also looking to send out a playbook so that everybody can keep up with everything that the group has planned for Hispanic Heritage Month.
That is incredible. It sounds like quite a lot. I also think I heard the San Antonio market might be having some mariachis show up into some of our stores.
Every one of the PRG members have set it up to where mariachis are going to play at each one of the stores on 16. So yeah, I mean, it took me a while to go through the list, but there's more things coming. And really, I can't thank the leaders of each one of the chapters for all of the work that they've done to set this up. And I'm excited about what this first year will look like. And I'm absolutely positive that next year will be even better as we learn from what works and what didn't during this session.
It sounds like a lot of thought was put into an intentionality, put into all of these things. I love what you were talking about. What is the message you want to speak to them directly, whether they're interested in really any PRG, but really in particular this Hispanic PRG, but as a member or an ally, what's your message you want us to share with them?
Yeah, we'd love to have you, and whether it's as somebody that joins as a member or somebody that commits to joining as an ally, would love to have you in the Hispanic PRG. And for those of you that may not be aware, you can go to the My HEB Life page on PartnerNet and learn more about how you can join.
Again, Armando, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. I'm really excited to see everything that your group is going to do during Hispanic Heritage Month. And thanks for telling us all about it.
Glad to do it. Thanks for having us. And we're looking forward to a great Hispanic Heritage Month.
Absolutely. Well, partners, thanks for listening in, and please join us on next month's podcast. Next month, we are going to be celebrating Disability Awareness Month, and we are launching a disability partner resource group. The executive sponsors, Shireen Odar, Brooke Brownlow, and Todd Wright will be joining me on next month's podcast in October. So please tune in for that. And don't forget, here, everyone belongs.